Continuing the theme of movie character quotes, Spock from Star Trek once said, "Insufficient facts will always invite danger." And we're going to examine exactly that. Now, I find it quite humorous that the second affirmative speaker opened with an analogy about the White House needing a bake sale. And actually, under the affirmative policy, the government's going to need to hold a giant bake sale to pay back all the bondholders they will be discriminating against. So let's move into the specific argumentation that the second affirmative speaker brought up. Now, the first point I want to address is about the Republic of China versus the People's Republic of China. Now, there are a few specific responses that the affirmative team completely ignored. First of all, they asked for evidence, and yet they completely ignored the card I read in my first speech. I will read it again. Candace Riddle says, quote, "Article 63 of the Constitution was a clear admission that the ROC continued to accept responsibility for all of its pre-1949 debt," unquote. This is the Constitution of Taiwan. They accept responsibility for the debt. I don't know what the case was with the British bonds and who accepted responsibility for those, but when looking specifically at the United States bonds, the ROC or Taiwan accepts responsibility for all. So we have read evidence of that. And then the affirmative team's response about successor governments, that was completely irrelevant, because the government who is liable is the Republic of China in this case. And then my third response is about successor governments. Now, they keep asking for evidence on this, but think about it. It's irrelevant. Because when you look at who actually claims responsibility for the debt, it is the Republic of China and not the People's Republic of China, which the affirmative team is trying to extort for money under their plan. So what's the impact of this? You are holding the wrong person accountable. You are holding the wrong person accountable. You are saying that the People's Republic of China, which in no way is responsible for any of these debts, has to pay all of these debts, when in fact it's the Republic of China or Taiwan that owes all of these debts. You are holding the wrong person accountable. This is not a legal standard we should uphold at all. Now let's move into the next point of argumentation, which was justified under law. The affirmative team basically claimed that their plan was justified under law, and I actually believe this is also irrelevant. It is also irrelevant. The People's Republic of China is not obligated to pay a single dollar to the United States, since the Republic of China claims responsibility for all of these bonds. There's no international obligation to the People's Republic of China. It is not justified under law. There is no way the affirmative policy is justified under law. Now let's look at the second point, which was justified under precedent. Justified under precedent. Now, there were three examples that the affirmative team brought up: Britain 47 times and Iraq. Now, all of these examples in the end are really irrelevant. Let's look at why specifically. Now, the example of Iraq, that's because the previous government didn't exist. Think about it. I don't think it would have been too productive to go after Saddam Hussein while he was sitting in a jail cell and tell him to repay these millions of dollars worth of bonds. He wouldn't be able to. So the only successor government was the existing government of Iraq, and they were responsible for those bonds, not Saddam Hussein sitting in a jail cell somewhere before the Iraqis decided to hang him. No. Now let's move on to the next point, which was the selective repayment at a discount. The selective repayment at a discount. Now, they basically said this is the affirmative policy. First, I have two responses. First, I thought settlement was meant to help bondholders. Settlement is meant to help bondholders. That's kind of the point of having a debt settlement. But let's take the affirmative team at their word. Okay, so what is selectively repaying bonds at a discount? By definition, that means you are getting less than the bond is worth. You are harming bondholders. You are harming bondholders. So let's assume that this is true. Okay, so we're going to selectively repay, China's selectively going to repay these bonds at a discount. What happens? Bondholders do not get their money back. Bondholders do not get their money back. So either way you look at it, first, if it's not the affirmative plan, then their advantages don't apply. Second of all, the bondholders don't get their money back, even if you assume that it is talking about their plan. So either way, the affirmative team's case is not justified. Now let's move on to the next argument, which was that of Argentina, and how it was supposedly a different agency. Now, as my partner pointed out, there's an inherent contradiction in saying that our example is not applicable if you're going to keep talking about how Britain was such a success. But let's look specifically at Argentina, and all the examples, actually. Now, in all of these bond swaps, or bond repayments, I would like to note one simple thing. The affirmative team never said they succeeded. The affirmative team never read evidence saying these were successful. They simply said some of the bonds were repaid. The evidence never said bondholders did not take a loss. So in the Britain example, did bondholders take a loss? We don't know. But when we see the bond repayment that's happened in the actual system, in the case of Argentina, bondholders took a $73.6 billion loss. Now let's move into the final argument, which was that of the credit rating decreases automatically. Now let's assume that it decreases. Okay, what impact does this have? The answer is there isn't any impact. Because first, it doesn't harm China. It has not been proven that this will harm China. And second of all, it does not help United States bondholders. This argument was unaddressed, and it's for these reasons that you're holding the wrong person accountable that I ask that you reject the affirmative policy. Thank you.